Hello and welcome to Speed Gig. We're here with legendary drummer Thomas Lang.
Cheers.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Fun fact, the founder...
Knofi, he's my old buddy. We're like this.
Fun fact, the founder of Speed Gig used to play with Paul Gilbert back in the day with Gschoesser X.
Fun and very impressive fact.
Yeah.
Gschoesser, who is the founder and owner of Speed Gig, used to be the drummer in Racer X. Of course, that's Paul Gilbert's band from way back in the day. And coincidentally, I now have been working with Paul for years. And we just started making a new record as well. But Harry is the original drummer, yes. So that's something for your drum and music trivia collection. Remember that? Harry Gschoesser, first drummer in Racer X.
Like you said, you just started recording a new album.
Yes.
What can we expect from it and how did the recording sessions go?
I love Paul Gilbert. He's an amazing musician. I love his playing. I love the fact that he's like a walking almanac of music trivia and repertoire. He can play any song. He knows all the lyrics. He knows every solo. He's incredible. Fantastic player, wonderful person. And of course, if somebody like Paul starts assembling musicians for a new album, you can bank on the fact that they're going to be great players and great people. So we had a blast in the studio. Thank you very much. And I'm honored to be part of this elite, group of people and incredible players. Kevin Chown on bass, Freddie Nelson on guitar and vocals, and Tony Spinner on guitar and vocals. Absolutely incredible band. 3 guitars, bass and drums. So it's pure rock and roll. And Paul wrote some really great and fun new music. And we had a blast. We played all live in the studio. Everything recorded live in one room. Totally old school. Like we did the previous album. We did it the same way. All in one tiny room at that time. But now we had a big room. And the producer this time was Kevin Shirley, the Caveman. Very legendary producer who produced Aerosmith and Beth Hart and 10 Dream Theater albums. And Deep Purple and you name it. He's a total legend. And he produced this album, so it's a lot of fun to work with Kevin and with all these other great players and Paul. So expect lots of rock and roll, incredible guitar shredding, because Paul is a killer, of course. And drumming wise, what we did so far was just really straightforward, hard hitting rock and roll.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So you're here in Austria for the boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that interests me is how did you come up with the concept of boot camp?
What happened is this. About 10, 12 years ago, when social media first came up, there was something called MySpace. The young ones of you won't remember it, but the old geezers remember MySpace.
I do.
You remember. He's an old geezer. So when MySpace first started happening, I used to post, hello, I'm in Stockholm today. We're playing at the whatever arena. And then people from Stockholm said, oh, you're in town. Do you mind if I take a lesson? Do you have time after sound check? Can I come to your hotel or to the venue and take a lesson? So I started posting where I'm going to be, like in 3 days or whatever. And people started saying, hey, can I come to your hotel for a private lesson? And this got out of hand very quickly after, a few months of that. It was like, hey, do you mind if I bring 2 friends and we share the cost of the lesson? Or, hey, can we book you on your whole day off? Can we book like a whole day with you at the Marriott Hotel or something? And I did that for a little while, and it started growing and growing into group lessons. And it became a complete chaos, of course, because this friend, it was bringing 2 other friends and not the one guy. He said, and then there were some girlfriends in the room too, and then there was 4 other guys who I don't know who they were, and I don't know who was paying what. And, it's just a chaos. And not that it was about money for me; it was more about doing something productive on my off days. But it was a chaos and disorganized. So in 2000, maybe 5 or 6, I can't remember. I started organizing it a little bit and giving it a name. I think that was 2007 or something. And I called it the Thomas Lang Drumming Boot Camp because it was a bit of a guerrilla style operation still. But I made a website, very rudimentary, very simple website. It's still the same one today. But I made a website so people can register and gave it a name and made flyers and announced camps when I knew my schedule a few months ahead of time. So that's how it all started, out of a pure organic need and necessity and demand for lessons with me on the road. So, and initially it was a way for me to fill gaps in my schedule when I had off days wherever I was, or I had 3 days between a recording session and maybe a show or something like that, or between 2 recording sessions. Or on tour I had a few days off and I would fill those off days and gaps with camps. But now it's grown into this monster, and I've done 100 camps now. Actually, this camp starts tomorrow. It's camp number 99, and the one next week in Cologne is number 100. So it's been...
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hard work. All you guys, you keep me on my toes out there, man, with your pair of flammer diddle doodle daddles. No, it was great. It was really great fun. And
do you know how many countries you did boot camps in?
No, because I did some countries multiple times, but I know it's been over 100. This is camp number 100, and I'm not counting like the big drum bonanza or other camps we host for other people. Only my boot camp. So it's been more than 100 camps in total that me and my company have hosted, but it's number 100 in the Thomas Lang Drumming Boot Camp, and we've had usually. We get an average, well, I try to limit it at 20 to 25 students, but we've had many camps with 45 or more students.
Wow.
So we've had some camps with 10 or 15 students, but we've had an average of 20 students, 20 or 23 students or something like that. So we've had about 2,200 or 2,300 students.
That's impressive.
With just the drumming boot camp over the years, and I think it's been 41 countries. As far as I remember, so it's quite something. Very, very all over the world. Moscow, Melbourne, Sydney, L.A., New York, Paris, Milan, Rome, you name it. Stockholm, Oslo, Helsinki, everywhere. Europe, Asia, Kuala Lumpur, Tokyo, Singapore, Wiener Neustadt. I mean, the most bizarre places, Lahti in Finland, for example, or Wesel in Germany. But there's some reason for it. Either there's a university there, or a drum school, or a studio, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've had some really interesting locations.
And what can someone expect from a boot camp?
Well, you can expect a very intense, minimum 3-day camp with hands-on playing. You're busy playing the whole time. You've been at a camp, so. I was sort of the person who introduced this concept to the world, that every camper actually has their own practice drum set. Up to this point, all the camps were a guy teaching and everybody listening, Yeah. But in my camps, I started, I gave everybody a drum set so they can play along with me, and it's very intense and very interactive. So, and of course, other people have now taken this idea and ran with it. But this was the original camp that is hands-on, very intense, because I design a curriculum specifically for each camp, and I take the top 3 things that each camper wants to improve in their playing, and I create a curriculum for the students out of this, out of these combinations of top 3 things. So everybody gets what they want. Everybody's playing all the time. It's very intense. It's a great group dynamic because you can watch the other guy play, you can watch me play, and you can watch that guy play, and you're all playing the same thing.
Everybody's pushing.
It's like Jane Fonda drum aerobics, for at a very intense level, but not too hard for beginners and not too easy for more advanced players. I create a very balanced, I think, curriculum because I take it very seriously. I want to give everybody, exercises that are challenging but not impossible to play. And I want to keep everybody engaged and busy. So it's very intense, it's very dynamic, and it is very much to the point because I teach what each camper wants to learn specifically. So it's a very sort of high impact, on target type situation. Sorry, this is my phone. That's now you know my ringtone.
So, like you said, 41 countries boot camp, but that's only the boot camp. You're doing so much stuff, recording, playing live, producing, writing music all over the world. You play in Asia, South Africa, I know, South America, US, Europe. So you're constantly traveling and so many different time zones. don't you need a break sometimes? I mean, you
Yeah.
look fit. You're an amazing player. What's your secret for being healthy and fit?
Well, I have no secret. It's I white knuckle my way through it. I just grind my teeth, bite my lip, and muscle through it. There's no secret. I mean, you have to try to stay reasonably fit. The most important thing is sleep.
Yeah.
And I try to get enough sleep. That's it. And I take breaks whenever I need breaks. So I have the luxury to be able to choose when to work or when not to work. And when I feel that I've been working too much, I take a break. And I am very generous with my breaks. And I don't mind at all taking time off. Of course, you don't know when I'm taking time off because you don't see anything or hear anything from me during those times. But I do take plenty of time off. And I think that's my secret. It's a balance. My motto is everything in moderation, including moderation. So
That's a good one.
yeah. So I go hard, for certain periods of time, and then I go hard not doing anything for an equal amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important balance. You have to know when to step back and take a little break. And not only give myself a break from working, but I'll give everybody out there, the audience, a break from me too.
So you're not only a drummer, you're a producer. You play the bass, you play the piano, you play the guitar.
Very badly. But I do.
Probably
I'm
much better than me.
enthusiastic. I'm a very enthusiastic bass player.
And you're writing for other artists. You have your own production company. How does this all affect your playing as a drummer?
Well, of course, I think the more you know about the big picture and the more you're used to listening to other elements in the music, I think the better for your responsibility. Now, in my case, drums. I think producing music has taught me a lot about leaving space as a drummer for everybody else to do their thing. I think writing, producing, and arranging has helped me to really define the essence of what drumming is a little better for myself, and also reduce what I'm doing to its most basic responsibility and function. So I think that was a very valuable lesson. And other than that, I think, like in any other area of expertise, I think the more you know about the big picture, the better. The better you can gauge whether what you're doing is right or wrong, or too much or too little. And it's for me, it wouldn't be fun any other way. If I was only playing drums, I think I wouldn't be very satisfied creatively or musically. Not that there isn't a lot of things to explore still on the drums, there is, but I like melodic elements and drumming. It's not a melodic instrument. Whatever you guys think or say out there, yeah, whatever, carry on. It's good. For me, it's not a melodic instrument.
So, for example, when you're watching a band playing, you're not only focusing on the drummer. What is playing,
exactly. Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
picture.
And I like writing because I started playing piano at the same time I started playing the drums, and I didn't practice as much, really, but it helps me with writing and stuff. So I like to use the piano and think melodically and harmonically, which on the drums there is no such thing. Even if you play pseudo melodies and kind of simulate certain pitches, it's very different on the piano because there's a whole system with it, and a grid, if you like, of harmonics and circle of fifths and things like that that are very interesting. And I like to have the combination of all those things to really satisfy my creative and musical needs. Without that, it would seem a little meh. It would just seem like just vegetables and French fries. You want that meat there too, if you know what I mean. So it's like, it's either just the meat with no side dishes, or it's just side dishes without the meat.
Yeah.
I want all. Good balance of carbohydrates, proteins, and starch. There you go.
And healthy fats.
Healthy fats, yes. Omega-3s, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as someone who's been an international recording scene for quite some time all over the world. Did you experience some change in the whole business in the past few years? Talking about all these streaming services and
of course,
legal.
Yes. They suck, streaming services. I know you guys out there love them because you get music for free. But you see, what costs nothing is worth nothing. Okay, so if you consume music for free, you're not doing anything good, because the composers don't get paid, the producers don't get paid, the musicians don't get paid, the record companies don't get paid, the management companies don't get paid, the lighting engineer, the truck driver for the nobody gets paid if there's no money coming in. And it's a terrible, terrible thing for the music industry. And a lot of young musicians and people who aspire to be musicians love these streaming services because, whoa, now I can get all the music I want for nothing. All I have to do is listen to some advertisements between songs every 5 songs. Or, oh, it's only $10 a month. Oh, I pay a premium service, $10 a month. Wow. So for $10 a month, you listen to like 1,000 songs a month. That would cost $1,000 usually to listen to each song once.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be, and that's a fair compensation, because it costs a lot of money to make music and to record music, produce it, duplicate it, replicate it, sell it, package it, ship it. It costs a lot of money. So the money coming in through streaming services is down here. You don't even see it. It's that low. It's 0.901 cent
Wow.
per spin. Okay, and then the money costs to make music is up here. So that balance is completely out of whack, and that is terrible for the music industry. It's great, of course, for these streaming services or whoever owns them, but they're criminals because it's about intellectual property. It's about licensing issues, record companies who are being very much corrupted by streaming services, or they make deals. Okay, we'll give you those 15 artists of our back catalog if you play the new whatever Nicki Minaj song on your streaming service too. So there's a whole lot of bullshit, and I think it's absolutely terrible. And I could start cursing now a lot, but we'll censor that. So yeah, I don't dig it. I'm all about fair compensation for everybody. I don't want music to be unreasonably expensive. It has to be a fair price. But it costs money to make music, and on top of that, you have to compensate people for having these great ideas and writing this wonderful music that is so powerful and inspiring for people. It is. You have to put a dollar amount to it and attach a value to it, because again, if it's not worth something, or if it doesn't cost anything, it's worth nothing. And so I'm all about fair compensation. All you guys out there, you should be paying for music, whether you like it or not. It's not a free thing. You can't expect music to be free. You can't expect film to be free, or literature, or any other art. And of course, technology allows a lot of the illegal activities and illegal downloading or file sharing, which it sounds so positive. Sharing means caring, but it's not. Sharing is causing damages because it's usually illegal, and somebody takes some stolen music. Where'd you get those 400 songs? My buddy Joe gave them to me. Okay, great. Did you pay for those songs? No. Did he? No. And it goes 400 songs Joe, then it goes to Bob, then it goes to Jeff, then to Andy, and then it goes to Bruce and whoever. Each one of those causing at least $400 worth of damages. Anyways, I'm on a rant here. Sorry. So, for all you guys out there, be fair, pay for music, and make everybody happy, because in the end, if you're musicians or want to be musicians, you're shooting yourself in the knee if you don't put money into the market, because that's the market that you're not going to work in and make money from in the future. So try to keep it alive. Support other musicians, support music, support writers, composers, studios, and the only way you can really support the scene is to take your money and put it where your mouth is and actually pay for the music you listen to. It's only fair, it's all good, and everybody's happy.
That's what I always tell my friends when they, for example, when I bought Ableton Live.
Right.
Hey, why did you pay for it? You can download it on this website for free. Well, I want to be a musician, I want to earn money playing music. Why should I steal something from the whole business.
By the way, that's also illegal. By the way,
Yeah.
yeah, stealing. It's called stealing. It's
Yeah.
theft.
Yeah.
It's illegal. No, and you know, if you steal the software to write music with it, the music you write with it, and if you sell it and make money from it, that's illegal too.
Yeah.
You can't use stolen product to make something that's a commercial product. That's very illegal. Yeah, I know people who went to jail for that.
Wow.
Yeah, and they should. Yeah. Okay, back to something positive.
You've done so many things. Is there one thing like a record or a show or anything that nobody would expect Thomas Lang was involved in?
Yes, I'm sure there's many. And I'm sure you've heard many things on the radio, you know, especially in my early days,
Yeah.
when I was here in Europe working a lot in Central Europe with German-speaking artists, where you hear songs and go, really? Yeah, many things. I used to do a lot of like really random sessions, like for like really, you know, Polish singers-songwriters, or you know, a lot of Austrian singer-songwriter stuff, Austropop,
Yeah.
you know, or a lot of stuff for Italian artists that you wouldn't expect maybe me to play on or work on, and you know, it's hard to find like one song that I could mention, but yes, there's many things out there. What was this I mentioned earlier at the show? I mentioned something. I can't remember. But I've worked with some really random artists and played on very random music, and also movies and TV shows and stuff like that. I mean, I've done like the weirdest things that are not very much like me, like played on, you know, bad TV shows like Kommissar Rex and stuff like that. Well, bad. A lot of people like that show.
I did as a child.
Or like worship music in England, like a lot of like church music, or like folk music in Poland, and you know, very random things all over the world, and a lot of stuff with Japanese artists or Korean artists and South African artists. Very random things all over the place, which all of them have been great lessons and very interesting. And sometimes I look at my CD collection of stuff that I played on. I don't keep all of them, but I kept a lot of the early ones. And when I look at them now, I'm like, wow, that's the most bizarre project ever. But for me, it was a learning experience, and you know, I always learned a lot playing the most weird songs and music.
Yeah, one very typical question. If there's one musician alive or dead you could sit down and jam with, who would it be?
Frank Zappa.
Oh, awesome.
I love Zappa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Zappa. Also, John Lennon, of course. Miles Davis. You know, a lot of great. But Zappa, you know, he's so eclectic. What a great musician, and has such a weird, wacky sense of humor in his music. And he was so dirty and left field. Fantastic.
Far ahead of his time, if I think of Bobby Brown.
Oh
the
yeah,
lyrics.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great, you know, fantastic musician.
So, who was your favorite Zappa drummer?
Vinny.
Okay.
I think Vinny and Terry. Actually, it's hard to say. Terry, maybe. Terry. I mean, if you look, you know, that Baby Snakes era. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've seen all those great videos online. You know, him playing.
He used to be like a punk rocker, like spitting in the
Totally.
camera.
Totally. Oh yeah, man, he was so kick-ass. You know, and he played that very complex music with such ease and with such great attitude. And he was, you know, playing those really complex, like aught meters and you know, septuplets, and but with like a rock and roll attitude, and in these, you know, freaking, you know, black Speedos, and he was just kick-ass, man. And he had the big double bass drum kit, and you know, playing drums seemed
Sings
like
up here.
you know, he wasn't even serious about drumming. He was, you know, he was such a great performer. You know, he sang in the show, and he was he delivered that with so much energy and attitude. It was great. I loved it. But I also loved Vinny's playing, which was, he wasn't such an outgoing performer, and he wasn't so, you know, flamboyant on stage, and he didn't wear Speedos either. But he played with so much finesse, you know, and musicality, and he was so technical, you know, and very precise. You know, Vinny and Terry, my favorite.
Yeah.
Although, of course, Chad, man, he was incredible. He's such a freaking.
And he was so young.
He was so young, and he was the guy who played with him the longest.
Yeah.
You know, longer than any other Zappa drummer. And I liked Ansley Dunbar very much in the very beginning, and also I liked Chester Thompson, of course. But I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would be equally, Terry and Vinny. Yeah. And that era of Zappa's music I also dug the most, I have to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's the records that Zappa made at that time that I really dug them more than other records, musically.
Awesome. Thomas, thank you very much. It was really,
Michael?
really a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And you guys attend the boot camp. I can only recommend it.
Check it out.
Yeah.
www.thomaslangdrumcamp.com. Also check out www.bigdrumbonanza.com and check out www.thomaslangdrummer.com and check out www.muso-mart.com. You can find some CDs and swag there and fun pictures and stuff.
Great. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.